Code so slick, circuit stay garbled. Encrypted hustle, no chains, no marbles. Faster than the rest, cost stays humble. Breaking through the game, watch others crumb. Nobody do it like this. Circuits in the mist, faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, we flipping the twist. Gobble circuits, baby, we the future, don't miss. Others move slow, we quantum and speed. Blocks they can't touch, fulfilling the need. Chains bound tight, but we unshackled. While they debug, our code is tackled. What they can't do, we already done. Their game outdated, we just begun. Algorithms flex, they can't compete. Circuits garble, but the vision concrete. Nobody do it like this. Circuits in the mist, faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist. Others stuck in the lane, we flipping the twist. Garble circuits, baby, we the future, don't miss.
What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 5 of COTI Confidential. On this April 27th, 2026, I'm here with Soren. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going all right, Tracer. Glad to be back. I'm here from the...
So you haven't changed your tagline there.
With the 50-60 mile an hour wind today, so flying.
Bit of big news today. That we're going to talk about later, right? But private tokens, ERC20.
Absolutely, the big news of the day. So we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that. Let me just bring up my updates.
But of course, first, the weekly update with Soren the Viking.
Most certainly. Right, so hope everyone's week's off to a great start. So the weekly updates, just to remind everyone, is where we look back at the developments in the COTI ecosystem during the past 7 days. And when things are a little bit slow, we do take a bit of time to remind you of all the progress that COTI's made over a relatively short amount of time. A few days ago, COTI announced the solving of the millionaires problem on Ethereum Sepolia testnet. Now, this particular problem, or solving this particular problem, is not new at all, actually. You know, it was something we did several years ago when we first started talking about garbled circuits. But obviously, doing it on Ethereum testnets is a different kettle of fish altogether, because basically what that means is that the testnet rollout of garbled circuits is proceeding and seems to be going well and according to schedule. What it does do is it raises a very important question. What can we actually offer to the Ethereum community and others? And why should anyone be excited about this? So this sort of leans into giving a little bit of an update on where we are in the ecosystem and what use cases we are actually solving with privacy. I think the most important point, and this should be emphasized over and over until we're blue in the face, is that COTI is production ready and live. No one else is. Yeah, everyone talks a good game and announces big names, but nothing is really happening anywhere. And so, yeah, you don't have to wait around with COTI. once it's on Ethereum mainnet, you plug and you play. Yeah, and the odds are quite good that if you have your particular use case on Ethereum, probably is already live on COTI network in one form or the other. Private tokens, which we're going to talk a little bit more about today, particularly stablecoins, is critical if you need to build in privacy in your DeFi platform. COTI's privacy portal plus, basically, the news today that you can now build private ERC20 tokens on Ethereum. Yeah, plus the upcoming COTI privacy portal. This lets you change the state of your tokens from public to private and from private back to public as you like. Just a couple of clicks and you're good to go. And this is obviously super important and super critical. Stablecoins is the number one use case for blockchain, for crypto. So super important that we're on top of that particular game. Private trading is equally important. The central exchanges and the decentralized exchanges, there are hundreds, if not thousands of them. Privex leads the way with their private perplex. I know they haven't launched it yet. It is ready to launch. So, if anyone from Privex is listening, please feel free to let the beast loose, release the Kraken. We waited long enough for that. Also, the ARP Fastlane by our good friends at Banco uses garbled circuits for private arbitrage execution. And just as a little side note, they use this garbled circuits about 60,000 times every day. Yeah, and I'm going to explain a little bit later why that's important. If you need a private wallet, CipherTrade solved it. Private and public tokens, private swaps, private chat, everything that as an ecosystem regular that you could need in a private wallet is in CipherTrade. Equally, our good friends from United Network with their amazing hardware wallet, they use garbled circuits for private transactions as well. RWAs, together with Sonic, we've launched the world's first end-to-end private RWA on our testnet, and this will come to mainnet in short order. Recruitment, UC Talent is integrated garbled circuits to deliver confidential escrow, private payouts, anonymous headhunting, and a bunch more things. Statwick, one of our really, really prime use cases, uses garbled circuits for supply chain monitoring of temperature-sensitive vaccines. The latest pilot involved 10 million transactions in 1 month with 0 sensitive data exposed. Yeah, and you can transfer that knowledge into any kind of supply chain monitoring, because it's not just vaccines that are temperature sensitive. If you're sending frozen chicken from Brazil to Sweden, they're pretty bloody sensitive to temperature. You don't want them defrosting halfway. Things like that. Private governance is done by Syncra, using garbled circuits for enterprise-grade private voting with AI-powered DAOs. We also got gaming, we got prediction, betting, auctions, lending platforms, digital advertising, and tons more. Yeah, all of it using garbled circuits and all of it with privacy at the core. Garbled circuits is, and you all know this if you've been listening, is 250 times faster than what you've used before, and it's 1,000 times lighter. Works perfectly fine on mobile devices. And it's cheap. And some would maybe even say too cheap, but it is what it is. It is very, very low cost efficient. And I think this will be a real eye-opener for Ethereum and others. And it'll be a huge leap towards integrating privacy into Web3. Because there are things you can do on COTI network that you can't do anywhere else. In the meantime, COTI is just going to continue to build and to ship relentlessly. And with those words, I wish you all a great week ahead, and back to you, Monsieur Treser.
Thank you again for another excellent weekly update, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
So I guess, yeah, like we said, the big news is all about the private ERC20. So I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to talk about there. I have some slides to bring up, and we could kind of just get into it. But it's definitely fresh here.
No, absolutely. Let's have a look at the slides, mate.
All right. So I'm just gonna read this one verbatim because I think these two paragraphs are pretty self-explanatory. The difference is what happens to the data, right, between private ERC20s and just regular ERC20s. The balances are encrypted, transfer amounts are encrypted, allowances are encrypted. Everybody knows when you're signing, you gotta, when you're signing for a transaction, you gotta set your allowances, right? When a private ERC20 transaction is processed on COTI, the amounts involved are never exposed publicly or broadcast on chain. Each token holder has their own private or personal encryption key. Only the holder can decrypt their balance. Everyone else, including validators, see ciphertext. All that confidentiality is handled automatically by COTI's garbled circuits running underneath the standard. So what do you think about that, Soren?
Yeah, no, I mean, we tried it. We have tested and tried it with the privacy portal. And the way it works is fairly simple. Take USDT. So in your MetaMask wallet, you have a public USDT and you have a private USDT. So you have both tokens in your MetaMask wallet, and you do the transfer or the configuration on the privacy portal from public to private or from private to public. And depending on which way you go, the tokens will then swap places. If you had 10 public USDT and you do you privatize them, they will now show up in your MetaMask wallet as 10 private USDT. And if you want to see them, you will see there's something there, but you can't see what it is until you use your encryption key to unlock your balance. And only you can do that unless you give your encryption key to someone else. Yeah, and the transactions, you can go and check them on on chain. There's nothing but gobbledygook on the messages attached to the transfer, so you can't see what was actually. You can't see that it was 10 USDT. So and it works and it's pretty fast. Takes seconds to do private, public to private or private to public. So it doesn't take long and it costs next to nothing. So quite nice.
So this is from the article too. Full 256-bit precision balances, transfers, allowances, mints, and burns all support the native 256-bit. No reduced width mode, no scaling workarounds, the exact token math builders expect with encryption underneath. So basically, like, developers rely on a very specific, large number format to calculate transactions. COTI kept this standard like completely intact. It means that developers can use this token standard without learning anything new. They just provided a powerful privacy layer of encryption over it, right? Encrypted in public modes, admins can toggle operations between encrypted and public flows. Teams can start with a familiar integration and progressively tighten privacy as the project matures. So they can run their project completely in the open, where all the transactions are visible, and then slowly scale up the privacy is how I understand this. So it gives, developers total control over how much of the information is publicly shared, right? And you could jump in anytime here, Soren.
And think about the way it's going to be done on Privix, where you have a simple toggle. If you want to trade something on Privex and you want, and it's maybe of a certain size and you'd like to keep it private, you just toggle on your privacy. And everything from there on is private. And so you enter the trade and then you exit the trade and you go back to doing smaller trades that you don't really care whether they're public or private. You can toggle back to public if that's what you like. Yeah, so there will be this switch, and eventually, I think eventually everything by default is going to be private. But I think it's a good place to start to have the privacy on, privacy off toggle.
Governance by design, role-based access control, a dedicated minter role, and cap-aware issuance make supply governance explicit and auditable. It's like rules for people running the project, right? It sets, a limit on how many tokens can be created, and what's done with them. It's private by default, right? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but did you have anything for that one, Soren? This one's
governance by design sounds a little bit like programmable privacy to me. That's what I think when I read that. Yeah. So this is part of the programmability that you program these things, or you code these things into the smart contract that governs your governance.
It ensures that the admin can't, secretly change the rules or print endless tokens, right? I guess is what that's all about.
Yeah, and we had a big project recently. Who was it that mistakenly printed 2 billion tokens, or what was it? An attack that printed 2 billion tokens just out of nothing. Yeah, this
I can't remember who that was, but yes.
Yeah, and it was not a small project. Was it Arve? Maybe it was Arve that had this issue.
I don't remember, man.
No, but this basically sounds to me like it's a way of taking care of that. Yeah, that no one can fat finger an extra 2 billion COTI or 2 billion Bitcoin or whatever it may be. Yeah, so because it's all part of the smart contracts, all programmed in advance, what you can do and what you cannot do.
You talked a little bit about this next point, but private by default and including supply. It basically means that, usually anybody can look at a public blockchain and see how many specific tokens exist, right? So with COTI new system, basically it'll display 0, right?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the actual token supply is safely hidden and tracked via encryption behind the scenes, right?
And again, those who have a business looking at that can look at that if they're on the list, and those who are not cannot. Yeah, it's simple programmable privacy.
Yep, and complete financial secrecy, right?
Yeah.
This is an interesting part because they're always saying we want it to make it easy to build on COTI, right? So built on proven foundations, access control and reentrancy protection are inherited from Open Zeppelin. Encrypted arithmetic is delegated to COTI's MPC precompile. So new privacy primitives on top of trusted building blocks. So basically it means that it's the same kind of thing, like tools that developers are already familiar with to get them privacy into their build, right?
Yeah, I have no idea what that, except for what you said, I have no idea what all that means. But yeah, no, I get that, and of course, this is something that the team's been working on for quite a while. Our library of SDKs and smart contract, what's the word? Examples. That's not the word, but the smart contract examples means that for a lot of use cases, including the ones I listed in the update, there are smart contract examples that you can go in and make minor adjustments and fit them straight into what you're doing. Yeah, and so it to me it's all about making it, building on those easy to build on credentials. So
it means that they used it kind of the gold standard of security tools, so that they're using things that they already trust and is widely used across crypto, right? So it's kind of like a no surprises kind of thing, which makes a lot of sense. It's all about building easy, right? So next slide. What is going on here? So you talked about a little bit of this, but what does it unlock, right? So it unlocks private tokens, turning any public, and I didn't think it was going to be this way, but any public ERC20 token into a private token. You talked a little bit about private stablecoins, move value on public rails without broadcasting salaries, invoices, and settlement amounts. So that's some use case right there. Confidential DeFi, we talked about this. We know, Privex is bringing something. We talk a lot about carbon DeFi, but trade, lend, and provide liquidity without exposing positions and sandwich attacks, etc. And then the big one, like you were talking about with Zonix on testnet, right? Tokenized real world assets, but truly private, right? Present regulated assets on chain while keeping the ownership and financial details protected with selective disclosure for compliance. So that's kind of what these private ERC20 tokens can unlock in the future.
Yeah, so basically what it means is if you run payroll on chain, you can now do that in a proper manner. And you don't have to expose anything, so nobody knows who's gonna be getting paid what. The outside world can't wrench attack you because they see you're moving certain amounts on chain. We've had, there was a big story over the weekend that basically the French authorities had, or somebody in the French public system had leaked 42,000 or 42 million, I don't know, a lot of addresses. And basically that's what's been behind all the wrench attacks in France, because particularly in France, there's been a load of this where people have been held for ransom and have body parts chopped off in return for not giving up their crypto tokens. So people are basically spying on you and monitoring your movements, and if the amounts are big enough, they'll come after you. And this takes care of all that. Private DeFi, we've seen it with the arbitrage execution with App Fastlane. Executing arbitrage opportunity is great, but with the advances in AI and bots and everything else, you are going to get front run on a fairly regular basis, unless you can keep everything private. So App Fastlane does that, and they do it about 60,000 plus times every day. And it's no doubt, and I'm sure Mark would confirm that, added a great security layer to their platform. Lending platforms, again, absolutely critical that you can keep these things secret. When you trade on exchanges, especially if you're a whale, trading with millions of dollars, I'm sure you'd like to keep that to yourself as well.
And I got to be honest, guys, we didn't know this article was coming out today, so we didn't have much time to prepare, so we kind of just put this together. But I assume once the dust settles, we'll have a lot more to talk about that specifically next week. But yeah, what else you got for us, Soren? You got more about private tokens? I'm still kind of just, trying to figure it out myself.
I mean, what it's not a whole lot more I can say about it, other than it's very straightforward and easy. And I think we're starting with, if my memory serves me right, it's about 12 tokens and there will be USDT, there will be USDC, there will be Bitcoin, there will be Ethereum, there will be COTI, there will be GCOTI, I think there will be ADA, and yeah, ultimately you can add whatever tokens you want. Yeah, it's not really a big deal to add more tokens to the mix. And
like it says, any ERC20 token, right?
Yeah.
In the future.
And the only other thing I would mention is this is where your MetaMask Snap comes in handy, because this runs on top of the MetaMask Privacy Snap. So you need to go and activate that, and then you're good to go on your privacy portal. It's really easy. People are going to love this because it's very straightforward and very easy. And you'll have in your MetaMask, you will have your public tokens and your private tokens. The only difference being is nobody can see your private tokens in any way, shape, or form.
Do we have a demo of this news today in an animated video, for example, of public to private swap? Now, I assume there's going to be one coming for the privacy portal, and I'm assuming that they're front running the privacy portal with this article, and I'm betting that the portal comes out this week. Soren, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And we've not been asked to do any demos of it yet. So I'm fairly sure that there'll be a demo when they launch it. There'll be a video to show you how it's done. And if there isn't, I know Tracer well enough that it won't take him long before he puts one out there. Yeah, that's your thing.
Well, man, Amateo's on it, bro. I'm sure he has those kinds of assets. This is my interpretation. I'm going to answer this is like right now it's any ERC20 on ETH. Does that carry over? I assume you're saying beyond ETH to all layer 2s. Well, I think that's kind of like a privacy on demand thing. Maybe some foreshadowing there. I don't know. You can give your thoughts, Soren, but that's how I see it right now. Privacy portal is, ETH, but you said there's some other assets in there, and we might.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of assets. Whether it runs on anything other than COTI network, I think to begin with, it'll run on COTI network only. But don't hang me up on that. Let me just quickly check and see if there's any portal. Yeah, I think for now it's a COTI network only, so you can swap your tokens from private to public, public to private on the COTI network. Yeah, as we go live on the various network, Ethereums and the L1s and the L2s, I assume that'll spill over onto the privacy portal. Otherwise, there's not much point in having it. So I would assume it'll spill over. But as of today, no, it doesn't.
There is no official demo, but unofficially, the community has built tools to test shielding tokens. Yes, we've seen some of that. It's very cool, man.
Yeah, so we got Cypher Trade, and we got the stuff that Inflationary Coin and Laurentio has done. They've all been doing some work around private tokens. Great work, actually. So this was just the community showing that it works, and it's fast.
We need to be more visible. Some of the people from our industry never heard about us. Yeah, I think Amateo is doing a great job right now. We're also launching some serious products this year. I think will help. I've already said how significant I think the COTI Nightfall partnership is, just with being able to offer ZK along with the garbled circuits and partnering with somebody like EY. Private ERC20 tokens launching today. It's pretty exciting. The privacy portal, how, proud Shahaf is of how it works and everything. So And there's a lot more to come, you know, in terms of community involvement with vibe nodes, etc. So there's a lot of things that are like right around the corner here that I think will help get eyes on the project. And I think marketing has, you know, their plan of how to appeal to the crypto community. It's just too bad that right now crypto's kind of what we'll call it suppressed, sad, lonely. As Eli says, no liquidity, right? I don't know what you think, Soren. Got a lot of stuff coming out.
No, absolutely. And I mean, okay, let's be real for a second. Yeah, there is absolutely no way that we launch garbled circuits on Ethereum mainnet without a big marketing push. Yeah, so there will be more people knowing about garbled circuits and our project when that happens than compared with before Ethereum mainnet. Yeah, and we got if the COTI graphics are to be trusted, we're looking at Optimism, Arbitrum, Base. Base I've heard rumors of for a while now, so kind of believe that one. Avalanche and Solana. Yeah, so I don't think they get much bigger than that. And if that doesn't give us more visibility and more people knowing about us, then I'm not quite sure. And it will, but if it for some reason didn't, then I'm not quite sure what else we could do. Yeah, because we are literally everywhere that matters.
Let's take a fun question, because speculating is fun sometimes. Guys, how big can COTI become? Well, like I said on the last show, if you look at the tokenomics and everything else like that, everything, in my opinion, has been, you know, formed around becoming something huge. Because the tokenomics don't work otherwise. So it's poised to be huge. How big can it become? I guess, you know, that's up to everybody to DYOR. If you look at how much time some people put into this project, and I'm not talking about official, you know, team members. I'm talking about people like us and Soren or people who, you know, pretend like they don't even. Anyways, I don't know. There's something special about COTI, and we're here for it. And I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on that, Soren. But
yeah, I don't think. I mean, honestly, I'm a little bit, you know. I'm going to go along with what you said. Yeah, there is. On one side, there's no limits to how big COTI can become. Yeah, what it takes is for somebody to make us the darling of next alt season, or some crazy run, like we've seen a few of them in the past weeks. It's crypto, so no one knows, and you know, equally, you know, price action could be dead for another year. As far as I'm concerned, I have no idea what to expect, and I think that's the whole point of crypto. Nobody ever knows what to expect. It comes when you least expect it. I will say one thing, which is, and I know Eli preaches this quite often. Yeah, the price action will probably precede adoption by a fair amount of time. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And yeah, sky is the limit. Yeah.
I'd like to see in the comments what, you know, everybody who's watching right now, what they think how big COTI could become, how big COTI will become. I mean, they're definitely sitting on some juicy stuff right now. I'm going to take another one here from Mike Russell, if that is your real name, Mike Russell. I saw the comment earlier, and I was going to come to this after we got through some of the juicy stuff. Yeah, COTI Ship is no longer part of the team. COTI Ship is a good friend, but he is no longer part of the team. It is true, and you guys know it's true because you've seen his LinkedIn, you know, shared all over the Telegram today. So why would that be fake? This is old news too, just so you guys know.
Sorry for jumping in, but this is like 2 months old at least. Yeah, this is not news. It's old news.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, people come and go, right? And some of those people coming and going, it's, you know, it just is what it is. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, some comings and goings are more impactful. There's been comings and goings that you guys haven't even picked up on. Like, for years, there's people that you didn't even know worked there that have come and gone. So, like, losing, I mean, you guys all know how much I love Ship. He was a co-host on you know, the podcast before COTI Confidential. I love COTI Ship, right? And I wish he didn't go. But, like, that's the thing, right? Soren and I don't make executive decisions. Like, it doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter what you guys think either.
No.
So yeah, no, I'd love to have COTI Ship there.
Ship thinks. Yeah, it matters what Ship thinks, and Ship's landed himself a very juicy new job. So all the best to him. He was definitely and is definitely a very bright guy, and I think we've all learned quite a few things from him. So all the best for him.
Hey, I'm just glad I got to meet him and Soren and everybody else when we did, because that was cool. And we're gonna have moments like that again. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think you're gonna have a guest in the lobby in a second.
Well, I was just gonna weird because I was just gonna say, like, somebody that, you know, used to come. It was often a contributor to COTI Confidential, who we haven't seen for a while, and I know he's been busy. But it would be nice to have Eli back on here one day. But who is it coming in the lobby? I don't know. Like, this is a surprise for me too. Or didn't fear jail.
Let me send. Probably he's waiting for the link, isn't he?
You're not going to tell us who it is it?
No.
All right. Where is Maddox? Where'd that one go? See, this is what drives me crazy about this system. Like, that comment went all the way to the top. Where's Maddox?
Yeah.
You guys
Joshua's still there, but he's more into. It's become quite evident if you've listened to the interviews with Shahaf recently that Joshua has been seriously bitten by the AI bug. He's all over this like a rash, and has decided he wants to spend some more time with it, and Shahaf has wisely agreed to let him do that. Yeah, again, you can go look on LinkedIn. It was on LinkedIn several weeks ago. Yeah, you should all go check that a little bit more.
When you said we'd have a secret guest, I didn't want to say it, because if it wasn't him, I'd be like, you know, that kind of make, you know, me feel dumb and maybe him feel bad. But this is fitting, because I'd love to talk more about private ERC20. So welcome back to the show again, Amateo, CMO for COTI Network. What's up, man?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Amateo.
How's it going, bro?
Hey. Thanks for having me back. I was tuning into the stream, and I was like, let me just ping these guys and say what's up. And see
Absolutely. If I can always welcome.
Crash the party.
Crash away, man. Like, you know, I assume you're probably here to talk a little bit about private ERC20s, which would help, because you
sure.
You snuck that article in on us. We didn't know.
I know.
Obviously, we didn't know it was getting launched today, so we're kind of scrambling to talk a little bit about it. But tell us all about private ERC20s on COTI.
Sure.
It's very exciting, man.
Sure. Yeah, and happy to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Yeah, and I'll dovetail with saying, just like, congrats, Joshua. What you guys don't see is that what they're building on the AI side is completely all tied into everything that we're doing. And it's super, super cool. And I would say, sorry, I'm like derailing your question, but
no, good.
Yeah, because like, if you work in tech right now, if the project that you're working in isn't all in on AI, you're just like being totally smoked and left behind. And like if you work in a crypto project, you should be working in an AI project, not meaning that the whole project needs to pivot to AI, but just meaning that everything should be AI native. The way that you operate, the way that you build, the way that you create content, embracing the latest tools, everything needs to be AI native, because you can do the work of 10 people with a handful if you're AI native, and more so, and you can scale and scale and scale. And so it's been amazing. They're building some great tools for us internally, and we're doing all sorts of stuff that we're collaborating on when it comes to AI. And then that all feeds back into the protocol, it feeds back into the growth, it feeds back into the marketing. There's just so much that we can accomplish to move faster. Where AI fails is when it comes to like hard engineering of security, safety things that need audits, and that's why we're working with Safer, and we announced that to ensure that that everything is really buttoned up. But yeah, man, private ERC20 tokens. So let's get into it. Essentially, a couple things here, right? We're really laying the foundations for several things. As you guys all know, you guys have been here for a long time. ERC20 tokens are the foundation of Web3. I mean, this was the start of smart contracts on Ethereum that birthed all of DeFi and everything as we know it. And so what's happening right now in the Ethereum ecosystem is that they're rolling out some like private and confidential token standards on ETH, which is great. I mean, that's super great. But what we're doing is we're bringing privacy native to ERC20 via garbled circuits, and that's actually really unique and really powerful. And why? It's powerful because if you're already building, you're already using ERC20 tokens, you can enable garbled circuits on a layer on top of that, and then just enable privacy. Or you can have a dApp that you have already built, whether it's DeFi or whether it's something else, and then you can just include private ERC20 tokens as tokens that you add to your existing dApp, that you add to your existing DeFi protocol. And now you have an entire privacy layer that's baked into the system.
Similar to what we do on a user level in our MetaMask when we have a public COTI and a private COTI, a public ETH, private ETH, etc.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And so the idea here and what we're trying to set up is like everyone knows that privacy is the most in-demand, sustaining, not just narrative, but like trend towards users, towards growth. And Soren, I think you do like such a good job coming on here every week and highlighting how far along COTI is compared to everybody else when it comes to these builds and developments. And so we're paving the way with the idea that any builder can use private tokens in their app, in their dApp, but that also, if you're using ERC20s, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can have a really strong standard. And so you guys have that right idea that on top of this, this leads to like two critical things. One is the privacy portal, which you guys have gotten to test and gotten to experience firsthand. We're getting very close to releasing that. I know I said that, I think last time I was on, there was a few edits that we needed to do, but it's really, really close, you guys, and we're really excited to get that out there. And then the other piece of that, of course, is privacy on demand coming to Ethereum. As you guys highlighted at the top of the show, solving the millionaire's problem on ETH testnet is not an insignificant feat. This is something that Vitalik has talked about specifically with garbled circuits. We literally did it on testnet. It's just a small bridge away from mainnet. It's not going to take much. And so this is really setting up for this ubiquitous and all-inclusive privacy layer that's going to just sit on top of all these things. Private tokens that are easy to use, that are fully accessible, that can power all these use cases on COTI network natively. And then, of course, private tokens, private ERC20s, and garbled circuits all living natively on ETH. And then, of course, we expand from there. So this is the foundation of stuff. And it's really exciting to see all these puzzle pieces start fit together to create the larger picture of what we're bringing in terms of fully scalable, programmable privacy.
Two questions. we had a question earlier about whether the privacy portal initially was only on the COTI network or on multiple networks. And our answer was that it's sort of going to follow when we are live on Ethereum mainnet, the privacy portal will follow that, etc., etc. Yeah, any ERC20, does that carry over to EVM? So that's question number one.
Yeah.
Question number two, explain to me, as if I'm 5 years old, which I am sometimes, why is it smarter to keep everything in ERC20 when we already have an ERC private token standard?
Yeah, great question.
Just in real layman's terms, because I'm sure others have as well, a little bit hard to wrap our heads around that part.
Yeah. So first question is, currently Privacy Portal at launch will support the private tokens that we've got created and minted with smart contracts that are audited. So they're all audited. They all go through the audit process in order to ensure that the privacy, the interactions with them are safe. You guys have seen this crazy amount of DeFi exploits the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty insane. It's really important that this is all done properly. It's gonna exist on COTI network first at launch, and that's also to drive more network usage, right? Like our network usage numbers have been amazing since a year ago. I mean, I know people want that materialized in price, but in time, as the market improves, like the actual network usage, we want to keep driving that network usage. Just because we're bringing garbled circuits to other networks doesn't mean that we're leaving our network behind. Network usage is so critical, and it's the testing ground for all of this stuff. So as we expand to other networks, will the privacy portal expand? I think there's aspirations to do that, right? Well, we'll explore that as that comes, but that's going to be a process. Now, the other question, question number two, the idea of a private ERC20 is to be fully EVM composable. So you have all of these chains that have embraced EVM as a standard, right? And then we want to have garbled circuits to be fully EVM composable across the entire ecosystem of EVM chains. If you want privacy, you can use GC on any EVM chain. Now, underneath the EVM chain, you have the #1 token standard, ERC20, right? What we want to do is bring privacy natively to that standard that's already out of the box, that's already incorporated into all of these different dApps, into all these different projects, into all of these Solidity out of the box code sets. You can add privacy to it, right? So these new standards, there's a lot of dev tooling that still needs to be developed around it. There's a lot of things that need to happen in order to embrace it across the ecosystem. And so we want to bring privacy as close to what already exists as possible to make the adoption of it as low friction as possible for anyone who wants privacy, if that makes sense. We want to have the least amount of development effort for the most significant amount of scalable privacy. Like that's the key, because otherwise, you know, especially in this kind of time of the industry, people don't have a lot of resources to build an entire new code fleet around a new standard. And if they want to embrace privacy, like how can we do this as effectively low cost and then make it as easy as possible for the users? And so we got to make that as close to what they're already got built to do so. Mm-hmm.
So basically, in order to avoid every network having an ERC native and an ERC20 native and the ERC, whatever the number is for the private.
7429, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, you know, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of native tokens or not native tokens, like what we used to have with native COTI, ERC20 COTI, BEP20 COTI, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it drives everyone mad.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, you think about this too, Soren, is like, there's a reason why we're able to do it in MetaMask, right? That's actually significant, because these other services are all going to need to be, and we're, you know, a little alpha is like, we're trying to bring privacy to far more wallets. So with that, like, not everyone's prepared to embrace all of these new protocol standards that they're releasing, and fractured privacy is as people are building it is as much of an issue as the lack of it, as the more that it develops. So we got to bridge the gap there. And I mean, like, you guys know, we're preaching to the choir a little bit, but I don't think anybody else is equipped to handle this the way that we are, and already like implementing it.
Yeah, I remember what Paul Brody said at the conference you attended, that one of the biggest threats to privacy in Web3 was that it was going to be a fractured experience. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, fragmentation, fractured. Exactly. Yeah. So we got to try to. And look, I think those who've looked at some of this, especially like Vitalik, actually kind of sees that this is the case. And I think obviously the guys at Bancor know that this is the case too. Like, if you want privacy, you should build with a garbled circuit 10 out of 10 times, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Question from Eli. Just to switch tracks a little bit, what are your thoughts on Gemini integration of agentic trading?
Yeah, good question. What's up, Eli? Nice to see you, man. I'm glad you're here in the chat. Thoughts? I mean, this is something I've talked about for a while, but I think that we are on the verge of some kind of major agentic trading meta. And I think it got a little bit suppressed, quieted, but I think there's a lot of people tinkering behind the scenes. And as more and more of this gets figured out, I think the reality is, it's crazy how difficult this is a problem to solve still. I mean, it's like they're like it's like unbelievable, the stuff that they're solving with AI and the breakthroughs that they're having, and then like the actual like agentic trading stuff is still struggling to like get consistent results over time. You tend to get good results in a short period, and then you get like a regime trade in the nature of like the market, and then everything starts breaking. And so people keep on trying to like re-engineer the algorithms to be more and more trend based rather than chart based, but it's not solved yet. So I don't know. I think you look at Gemini, like, and then no shade at Gemini, but like they're like reposting major headlines now of things. Like, I don't know what trend that is. Like, they're breaking news. Like, come on, like, let's just stick to the track here. Like we don't all need to become like DGen news outlets. Let's stick to the track. Again, no shade. I just want us to be focused on our ecosystem, not what some influencer headline is. But I think ultimately agentic trading is I think that we haven't even fully broken through that trend. And I feel like when it does, we're going to have some crazy money printer style activity. And I think that it's going to be copy traded to death, and it's going to be a whack-a-mole game. And I think that the end result is going to be critical privacy for agents for trading. Otherwise, there's no sustained profits in the agentic trading meta. And so one could say that it's the lack of privacy and the copy trading to death that on-chain trading, which is actually why it hasn't caught on more, because it's just everyone's being exploited the minute that they start to develop something that works. So that's another like road that points back to privacy to me.
Well, I can definitely talk from experience, and I know Tracer will echo this. Trading agents, it's extremely difficult.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah, and you know, we had the very interesting experience that the very early iterations of trading agents that we played with were actually reasonably successful.
Mm-hmm.
And the more sophisticated the agents got, the less we were in the game. So that's an interesting development, because the iterations to newer models of AI engines didn't make it any easier to print profits. Yeah, it made it sustainably harder. It was definitely a lot harder and continued to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first agents were super primitive. They had all these, rules.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what those rules were. We figured them out by, collaborating between like a couple of the users and going, okay, well, this seems to always happen. This seems to always happen. And then we started working around those, and we ended up figuring out how to be successful through it. But once those rules would change, or the back end knowledge base would have some new things added to it, it would break everything, like all our workarounds. And then it was like, okay, well, we're back at square one here.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to be on the cusp and the bleeding edge of something.
Yeah.
But when you don't have the inside track, though, it makes it very difficult. But it was fun to do it while it lasted. But now we're just kind of waiting for, like you said, we're waiting for some kind of stability to get back. I am anyways. Stability to get back into it.
Well,
it's super hard. And I think people often, mistake the difference between a trading bot and a trading agent. Bots aren't hard to program. Agents are.
Yeah. There's right. The bots have been live for a long time. This is like, that's not anything new, but the agents are tougher. The other issue that you have is that the volatility in equities is much higher than the volatility in crypto. And the same thing with commodities. So until we get a little bit more volatility, both to the upside and the downside, it's not going to be as attractive for agents just in general. Like, you got stocks moving like meme coins right now. So if you're working on the agentic side, you're going to be, you need the volatility to do reinforcement learning. So we just need more volatility. We need more volume. We need more liquidity. All that's going to be a requirement to really bring the agents back.
There is an interesting development, though, that a lot of the DEXs are now, for all intents and purposes, introducing stock trading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would, just based on my personal experience, no fancy argument behind it, but I would bet my bottom dollar that stocks are easier for an agent to trade than crypto.
They're easier for me to trade.
Yeah, stocks still have a little bit they have a lot more history, and they still have certain rules that govern the trading of them. Mm-hmm. So for all intents and purposes, they should be a little bit easier to trade than crypto, because crypto is still the wild, wild west. You never know what's going to happen 2 minutes from now.
As soon as 24/7, sorry, I was gonna say, as soon as stocks go complete 24/7 and they end the open and close of the trading day, all of that I think is going to go away. That's my I think the edge is just completely bled out.
I've been thinking a lot about the alpha that Shahaf dropped.
Yeah,
probably much to your annoyance.
Never.
About
it's
agents
all good.
Agents promoting for other agents.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Because that's really, really, really a fantastic idea. Yeah. I can see that being a big hit.
Totally. I just got the notification around Gemini launching agentic trading. So Eli is right all over this. I just got the notification. But yeah, agents. I mean, look, so a couple things, right? Agents are going to, not bots, again, just to clarify, I think Tracer is really right here. A bot is not an agent. Bots are now responsible, was the stat 50% of all internet traffic is bots? Oh my God, what a disaster. That's not an agent, right? It's much cheaper to run than an agent. There's not a lot of intelligence there. It's pretty straightforward. Many of them are running these, if they are using an LLM, running like super simple, low cost models, or locally running them, etc. But so a couple things. Agents are going to be the number one user of blockchain rails within the next 5 years. They are going to be the number one tool for online commerce within the next 5 to 10 years, right? They're going to power more online commerce transactions than humans. Within the next 10 years, intelligent AI agents are going to surpass the number of intelligent AI agents operating on the internet is going to surpass the number of humans connected via devices. Okay, so essentially what we actually look at is that there's going to be more agents doing business, interacting on chain, and talking to each other than there are going to be even humans. And we have to prepare for that future. And so for us, what we have to look at is how can we bring the tools of privacy and the full stack of what we offer, not just transactions, not just private tokens, but all the things that an agent may want to do privately, and make it accessible to those agents, and then talk to those agents where they are. So that's all I can say for right now. But I'll say that the one thing I will reveal, and I don't know if I said this before, so I'm not sure if this is new or not, but that the next Vibe Coding Challenge will be Agent Edition. So I'm working on that right now, and we've got a bigger rollout around the agent side that once I get off of here, I'm going to go back to working on that is oriented to that effect. So all kind of coming at once, and trying to roll that out sooner than later here with everything else we got going. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
A couple months. I'm going back a little bit here with this question, but it's hard to ask questions when Soren's in the room sometimes. Sometimes I have to mute him to get a chance. But a couple months ago, you were hearing everybody talking about OpenClaw, right? This was super viral, and you jumped on that. And then I saw a post a little while ago where you're like, dude, can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Oh my God.
Because it's like, even the most viral, I think that was probably the most viral agent narrative that I had seen coming through ever.
By far.
And I just give us your experience with it.
Yeah.
Because I thought your take was interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I jumped into this thing pretty early when it dropped. I was like, this is the future. This is so dope. I did two things. I ran a virtual terminal on a VPS to run OpenClaw for the techies out there. I also have a Mac Mini sitting here that's probably needs to get more usage than it is right now, but to run a secondary OpenClaw. And the idea was I was going to have a more personal OpenClaw for personal stuff connected to personal things, and then another OpenClaw that was connected to more things for my role here at COTI that was going to work on automated research, automated content, and putting together dashboards, coding things for me, and just being able to be this real digital assistant. And I'll say one thing to OpenClaw's effect. There was something about the ability to program the Soul MD and the personality of OpenClaw that to this day was the most natural conversation that I've ever had with anything AI. Even using Grok voice mode or other Claude voice mode, the actual personality, the sassiness, the give me jokes, and I'd tell it to give me shit, and it would, and I loved it. It was but it was so unreliable, and if I spent so many evenings on my laptop on the couch trying to debug this thing, just getting frustrated, hitting a wall, and spending hours configuring all these integrations, and then it not remembering them, or a future update disconnecting all the things that were running in my cron jobs. And finally they released an update. This was maybe a week or two ago, maybe a little bit longer, but a week or two ago. And basically I was burning way too many tokens via OpenRouter to get the work done. It was costing me almost $100 a week. And if I use even if I use Minimax 2.7 at the time, it just wasn't smart enough to handle what I needed it to do. Right. So it was either I pay a lot of money or it wasn't smart enough for me to do what it needs to do. And then I was like, I've got to migrate this to ChatGPT OAuth, get off of these APIs that are just crushing me. And I guess I ran into a problem that a lot of people were having, that OpenClaw needed to update to the latest version to handle this integration, but in the process of configuring the OAuth, it wiped all of its memory clean and deployed it as a new instance. So I was stuck in this loop. I spent like 4 evenings trying to back it up, recover it, get it configured. Ultimately, I should have waited like 2 weeks until the next version where they like sorted this out. And I just was like, okay, I'm done. I'm tapping out. This is just, the frustration is crazy. And then in 3 days, I used Claude Cowork to set up all of these connectors, build all these skills, and I deployed all these dashboards in like 3 days. That took me like a month of banging my head against the wall with OpenClaw, and I just had to move on. So now I just, maybe I'll come back to it in the future, but right now Claude and working with the new ChatGPT model is really the focus of the stack. So that was a little, maybe more information than you needed, but there's the details.
No, that was exactly my question. And anybody who's worked with these tools, like the amount of everybody who hasn't worked with these tools, they think it's just like instantaneous success, and it's not. It's not like, and not, you hear a lot of anybody can do it. What, it's not yet anybody can do it, right? It's getting better every day. It's unbelievable how fast it moves.
Yeah.
But there's so much disparity between models and between protocols that it's like, and there hasn't been that one, place that solves everything yet, in my opinion.
No.
So it's interesting to hear people's successes. You hear a lot about those, but what you don't hear much about is like the rage quitting, right? And like, why did you rage quit, right? And that's and that's good information, right? So I
totally. It's funny. I presented at an AI event like a couple weeks ago, and I was telling a succinct version of my OpenClaw story, and everyone was so impressed, even though I killed the thing, that I made it as far as I did with it, because they couldn't even get past the full onboarding experience and configuring it to anything. So they couldn't believe I had it as robust as I had it. So yeah, no, I mean, look, we're in the era of hyperbolic headlines where everyone's clickbaiting you with all of their AI results. The majority of it is absolutely fabricated, and they're just trying to get likes, bookmarks, to get like payouts from X, or to develop some stuff. There's a whole industry that's happening where the people on X are learning about AI tools like a month or two faster than everybody else, and so the people are just selling services to the people who aren't on X. Like that's a whole industry. Like I'm discovering that. Like it's like so it's interesting. But I will say it's super cool that Shahaf is all in on this, and that we are completely AI native as a team. Because that is, I don't know what's going on in other projects. I don't know where they're at with this. I don't want to pretend like I know, but it's amazing. And it means that we're always leaning into the latest, and we're building real tools for us to use to scale and move faster. And that's super clutch.
I just always find it funny with a lot of these new tools that come out, and we'll use OpenClaw as an example because that's where we are. It's like when you try to use something like this and you're using another LLM to help you understand this, like you're using Gemini to help you set up this or whatever. It's just, it's so ridiculous, man. Like, and I love playing with this stuff. Don't get me wrong. And it was Joshua who pushed me into this. He pushed all of us into this.
Yeah.
Right around the mainnet time. And I was like, oh man, like this is not for me. Right. And then I just stayed snobby for a while, but like 6-8 months later, I was like, you are completely falling behind if you're not, open-minded to this. And it's just so much easier to just go with it at this point. Like there's things that I refuse to use AI for, in terms of like, we'll call it creative writing or whatever, but
Sure.
It is nice sometimes to generate an abstract or point form notes. It's like so powerful. And it's true, like we talked months and months ago, it's like, you should start talking to it because you get better results. And I was like, yeah, well, it doesn't work all the time. You can't do that all the time, but it is very interesting now. Like some of the voice models, it's incredible where you can get with them.
Yeah, it really
So
is.
yeah, again, in the beginning, I was like, this is weird what we're doing. And now it's like, holy crap, if you're not doing this, you're insignificant. It's not pertinent to you need to know this stuff. You're doing everything so much harder. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, it just like it allows us to do so much and scale so much and grow in ways that we just wouldn't, like just the sheer velocity that we're able to maintain consistently is just thanks to AI. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
So Privacy Portal is probably pretty close, eh, Amateo?
It's very close. It's very close.
It's gotta be, man.
Oh, it is. It is. There was just a few critical pieces that we really wanted to ensure were there for launch. And so those pieces are just being finished up right now. So it's really close. I don't want to give timelines, but we're really close. We're really close.
Yeah, no, we get it.
So without giving any timelines, can you say whether it'll be Thursday or Friday?
I guess because I know we're at time here, and I don't want to keep you forever because I know you jumped in, but I guess my last question for you is, you have a lot of products to bring to market, we'll call it.
Yeah.
You have a lot of products to promote in the next little while, and these are like products, right? Like this is something that COTI maybe hasn't been really strong with in the past, like actually bringing their products to the masses, right? And really being able to market them strongly. So like a lot of things are, I don't want to call them due, but I mean, they're due to be released right away. Like how are you going to attack that? How are we going to break past like our little community bubble? Like I've always kind of been wondering, like, since you came on, like what's your strategy? What's in your head to kind of, because we've had this like great community for so long, and some people have left, but they linger, right?
Yeah.
It's like nobody can fully leave. So how do we break beyond that bubble? Like, what's your strategy for that?
It's that eternal question. Nobody outside COTI knows about garbage circuits. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a totally fair question, and I don't think it's necessarily an easy problem to solve. So especially because of the state of things, right? So like the state of things makes it harder, but I would say that also presents an opportunity. And the opportunity that it presents is that in the wider community, it is easier to reach them because those who are paying attention are paying attention. I would say that there's a few areas of this. I think that the enterprise work and the work we're doing with the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance is going to help start to bridge and so we've had to like elevate ourselves to a different level of the playing field and show that we are in parity, or further even in production than others, right? And in order to do that, we need to participate in certain ways. This work that we're doing and the research report that's coming is really slick. This is going to show like that we're in parity with the biggest builders in privacy. I think that we're thinking about things from a Shahaf product perspective in exactly the right way. So by bringing GC natively to ETH, I think gives us the opportunity to have a real breakout moment here. And that means that we can show and demonstrate that our technology is completely viable at a level that is just not being tapped into yet. It's just being talked about, not necessarily used, right? So I think that privacy on demand is maybe the most promising breakout opportunity for us, because it's not just ETH, it's also other layer ones and layer twos. And we have some really exciting conversations that are happening in that way. That's going to involve collaborations and partnerships, not just open protocols. And there's a huge hunger for privacy these big protocols, they want it. They're looking around at who can provide it, and we're the most viable option, right? So I do think that it's the key here is to bridge ecosystems, because there's not a ton of new attention that's coming into the space. Let's be real. Like it's minimal, right? Like I get on these like bigger spaces like Crypto Town Hall, and like they're like, is there new people coming to the space? Like it's just institutions buying up Bitcoin, right? Like it's just like Sailor propping it up. It's like these like there's institutional demand, but like the retail demand, the search, the traffic, things are low unless you a little bit better in like Southeast Asia. But so in this kind of nature of things, the opportunity is to go broader with who's here, and that promise is privacy on demand, and that promise is collaboration with big players in the ecosystem to showcase what we're doing and do that, and then that helps us carry what we're doing to builders, to a larger community, and ideally reorient our position in people's mind as not just a small privacy project that's been around for a long time, but at the forefront. So this is key, and that's my goal. My goal is to have a different view of who we are and what we're doing as not only a major player in privacy, but a true privacy leader. And look, we got the work cut out for us here. I do think EY and Nightfall is a huge step in that way. Even the awareness that we got from that is enormous, and the work that we're going to continue doing around that is tremendous. And that's so multiple tracks to the same conclusion, which is us playing at a much bigger level with much more with the recognition to match it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said, Ben. Yeah, COTI Nightfall, huge. Let's remember that these private ERC tokens, for the people that said like we're pivoting, these private ERC tokens, they are powered by garbled circuits. They're not powered by ZK, right? So there's no moving away from that. There's this narrative within our community that's been there for years, is that it wouldn't matter what COTI released right now because it's bear market. During bear markets, it wouldn't make a difference. Now, would we rather be releasing these privacy features and solutions at a point where the market is juicy and things are firing off left, right, and center? Or is it better to be releasing and building these things in a bear market so that when the next hype cycle comes, we've already been able to capture that kind of interest in things, right? And so I think you could debate that, forever. Me personally right now, and just what privacy is at its core and what it's set to solve, to me, it's better to be launching and bringing all these things while it's more like what you said. It's enterprises buying Bitcoin, and it's like niche, right? It's mostly the like you said in your talk for COTI Nightfall, it's like the regulators and usually the biggest blockers now are the ones that are trying to create this adoption. So,
yeah, I mean, sorry, Soren.
Yeah, I think the way to look at this is we got a 1 to 2 year head start. So I would completely ignore where we're at in the cycle. Yeah, I would focus on keeping that 2 year head start that we got. Yeah, we can do things that no one else can do. So, let's keep that advantage as long as we can.
I would just add to that like bear markets and depressed cycles are time to build and deploy infrastructure. Bull markets are for getting traction on the infrastructure that you built in the bear market. So if you withhold the development and the release of your infrastructure to when the bull market is here, then you get lost in the noise and you miss the entire time to lay all of the frameworks required to get the traction. Because what you really want to do is you want to convert the attention and the traction to usage on the infrastructure that you've released when the time comes, because that's when it's so easy to do. There's so much attention around it. So that's the whole process. And I'm glad that Shahaf thinks that way and that we're not waiting. There's too much work to be done. And look, there's too many things that we have lined up the more that we've got built, the more things that connect, the better. This is super key.
Absolutely.
Look, I want to thank you for jumping in, Mateo. Like it's always awesome to have you. And I don't know if you messaged me. I didn't ignore you. I just had Telegram closed because sometimes it's a bit of a distraction for me.
I pinged you guys at the same time. I was just like, "What's up?"
Okay.
I'm like watching. Maybe I'll see if you guys have a moment to have me jump on. So I'm always. It always is really nice to join you guys.
Don't be a stranger, Mateo. You can jump on anytime you like. We always absolutely enjoy having you on. Yeah. And as soon as Eli gets a bit of time, we're gonna have him on as well again.
Oh yeah.
But as always, like
Eli.
I'd love to allow you like a final word, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it's just nice to wrap it up. So if you had anything else you wanted to say before we see you next time. And I just want to say, like, I appreciate everything you're doing for us. It's happening, man. Like you're all over it. So I really appreciate it.
We're working hard, you guys. That's for sure. Everyone is building and very focused and investing a lot of time and energy into continue scaling privacy. Final word. I'd say that like I just do believe that, market cycle aside, there is a ton of opportunity for COTI and privacy to scale and get a kind of traction that's really unique that I'm just not seeing from others in the privacy side. And I think, just like Soren said, we've got the lead and we can now pull ahead from implementing privacy tools, making privacy easy, building for agents, being completely primed for the future of what's to come. And that, I think, is extremely exciting. We all can get a sense of where the trend is headed, and we're building for that trend now. We're not waiting. And I just want to thank this amazing community. I feel like I like just got I'm in my perspective, I came here out of the blue, and I got this amazing community as a part of joining, and that's just been great. Everyone jumps into the new products, tests them out. We get great feedback. People keep liking the posts. People keep sharing stuff. You guys, that means a lot to us. I don't want to like downplay that every like, every retweet, it matters. You guys are extensions of our marketing team. You're extensions of our core team. We're all in this together, and we together can uplift the project and take privacy mainstream. I'm not putting that on anybody. I'm just saying like that the rising tide lifts all boats, and when we work together, we have a much bigger impact. And I thank you guys for doing this and showing up, and it really means the world. So thank you guys, and thank you to the COTI community. You guys absolutely kick ass, and I get to get front row tickets to how awful it is in other communities, and I think you guys have been keeping the vibes really positive and high. And I would say that despite everything, FUD is really low, and aspirations and positivity is really high, and that's really great to see. It's not like that everywhere else, and we got to just keep building and maintain our North Star.
No, well it's very, very true, man. And, the community, might maybe be small, but it is robust. And to your point about FUD, most of it seems to metastasize from one area. So it is a very positive community overall. And we're ready to bring in the new masses. Yeah, I want to thank you so much for being here, man. We totally appreciate you. Soren, you got anything to say before we bounce?
No, just I can echo your words. Thanks a lot, Mateo. You're really on top of your stuff in a very, very hands-on kind of way. and I think that is that's the feedback you're getting from the communities because of that. So keep it up, buddy. We will try our best to keep pace with you. Not gonna be easy. Not gonna be easy, but we're gonna try our best, and we're not gonna get negative when there's nothing to be negative about. Quite the contrary. So we're gonna stay positive week in, week out.
Awesome, guys. Well, we're gonna keep shipping, so we'll keep everybody on their toes. That's for damn sure.
Perfect.
I want to thank everybody who joined us today, who lit up the comments, who asked Amateo questions, and for Amateo being here to answer them for almost 90 minutes. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of COTI Confidential from Soren and I. Thank you so much, live from coast to coast and around the world. This is COTI Confidential signing off. Take care, everyone.
Stay COTI.
Stay COTI.
Code so slick, circus stay garbled. Encrypted hustle, no chains, no marbles. Faster than the rest, cost stays humble. Breaking through the game, watch others crumb. Nobody do it like this. Circuits in the mist, faster, cheaper, sharper, crypto alchemist.